Hello, 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 my loves, and welcome to EQ with Jah. This guy. Everything I do, I try to keep it connected to emotions and emotionality of just the conscious being that I am. A lot of the times, the topics that pop up in my life, of course, are directly correlated to my own experience. And so the topics that I choose, I try to keep it geared towards that because it to me is the most relatable. With that being said, I have been in my fair share of relationships. And as far as friendships, romantic, whatever the relationship is, I've learned that there's certain groups of people who expect their environment to be entertaining to them, including the people around them. And it kind of baffled me because I remember when I was younger, I was dating someone and we met out at the clubs. You know, I was a party boy. I was out every night. I'm a party guy. I'm a starter. When it comes to like, woohoo, I'm that guy. But when I go home, I'm chill. I'm relaxed. I don't want to be crazy. I don't want to do anything. This is what I call my hibernation seed phase, and when I decide to be a flower and bloom and be seen, that's when I go out. So for me, I don't really need an entertaining environment. I need to be entertained within myself for me to enjoy anything I do. That being said, I understand that there are people who don't know how to entertain themselves inside. So they expect their environment, including the people who they care about or say they love, as well should entertain them. Have you ever met that person, like you're in a relationship and they're like, "Ugh, you're so boring." Why? Am I supposed to be doing something like running around, getting drunk, being crazy, doing the stuff that we did when we met? Or do you want a solid, consistent partner who knows how to balance out their life when necessary? This has been something that I've noticed that's actually been seen as a failure and something that is also taken as I don't know what the word I want to use, but it's almost an imbalance of power and transfer of energy where not one person on this earth is here to entertain the other. If we choose to do so, that is our choice. That is our free will to be an entertainer. That is our free will to put ourselves out there. That is our free will to be vulnerable. These are all of our choices. But what I want people to remember is, especially during this time of isolation, the pandemic, everything, no one is here to entertain you. It is your sole responsibility to find things that make your life exciting. No person will ever make it better. You can be happy in a relationship, but that person is not going to make you happier than what you were before if you were never essentially happy with your own presence, with your own silence, with your own shadows, with your own demons, whatever that might be, with your own chaos. If you don't know how to find like if you have chaos outside and chaos inside, guess what? It doesn't matter if you have a balanced person who knows how to keep you happy. Me and my partner right now, or my boyfriend, again, that's one of those words where people are interchangeably like partner, boyfriend. I call him partner because we're not boys. We are grown-ass men, and we're not married, so he ain't my husband, so he's my partner. But anywho, we're watching Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, and like there was a moment where I think it's like season 2 or something, and she's talking about how this is like not make her life isn't happy. Like she thought if she moved and she did everything for this guy, and if she got the guy and she got the job and all this stuff, she thought her life would be happier. And essentially that is the Disney dream that we are sold. Don't get me wrong, I love Disney movies, but there has to be something after the happy ending. And this is what we're not teaching ourselves emotionally when we go into relationships. Yes, the desire to be in a partnership and have balanced energy is essential and vital to communication, relationships, and our health as human beings. We need it. If we don't communicate, if we don't have relationships, right there we instantly become these weird, isolated, hermity people who really don't know how to interact with society. I was joking, and let me say this. Not being able to interact with society doesn't mean that you're not smart or intelligent. But it also gives me a glimpse of If you're socially awkward, more than likely you've been taught to be emotionally awkward. And so when that happens, if you meet someone who is conscious of who they are, comfortable with themselves, they don't need a lot of friends, they don't need a lot of what we say bells and whistles to be happy, then it's not so much about that person needing to entertain you. It's about you figuring out what is it about their solace or their comfort that makes me feel it's boring. This is important because then you start realizing the types of energy you surround yourself with. You start paying attention to the type of things that you say are your interests. Like, there's a lot of people who literally just get up, want to go out, want to drink, party, forget the next day and say they had fun. I was one of those when I was younger, but I promise you there's nothing fun about waking up to an almost empty bank account, hung over as crap, and yeah, you have a few great pictures, but you really don't remember. I'm not saying don't party. I'm just saying, like, be realistic about what your memories are. The memories that you tend to remember are the ones, again, where you're by yourself somewhere or you're with a really intimate group of friends or a partner. These are the relationships where the energy is the entertainment. You can sit here with me in silence, but if you're a person who I vibe with, if you're a person who understands themselves, then innately we're just going to enjoy being in each other's company. And we're not going to be like, ugh, would they go away? Or, ugh, this is so boring, because we know that, again, no one is here to entertain us. We can entertain ourselves, but we have the appreciation and the gratitude for having like energies around us who gravitate towards us. There's moments where, like, I understand that we all have expectations of other people because we've been taught that we have expectations of ourselves to other people. But that, to me, comes back to an understanding of self. If I know that you like to go out all the time. This is just an example. This is not a personal experience, but let's just say you like to go out all the time and your partner doesn't. So is it in that instant that it's your partner's job to want to go out just because you want to go out? Or is it your understanding that, hey, I need this more than you do, but I would love it if you were there with me? That gives a different opportunity and a different outlook on what you're trying to say to your partner. Now they don't feel like you're talking about their essence of being by saying they're boring because they're not entertaining you in the way that you feel you need constant stimulation. But then you're also opening up and saying, hey, I need this. And I would love it if your energy was there to balance out my full spectrum. That's okay. I'm the same way. If I go out, I want my partner there. I want my boyfriend there because I like having him there. I don't like talking to a lot of people, and he understands me intimately. So therefore, it's more comfortable for me to confide in him versus an environment. I can entertain an environment, but that's also a part of acting, which is we have to accept when we step off that stage of the world and we go back to ourselves and we're reading our own script, we have to determine which characters we're deciding to be. And so I never want to misrepresent myself in relationships or with other people. I tell people, I don't like going out. I don't like doing this. I don't want to do that. I ain't going to do that. I might change my mind and interact once in a while, but at the end of the day, no one should be hurt by someone saying they don't want to do an activity. It doesn't mean that they don't want to spend time with you. It doesn't mean that they don't like you or love you. But there's a sentiment that I usually say is, I don't have to care about what you like to listen. You understand what that means? Like, I don't like sports, but if you love sports and you want to talk about sports, I'll listen. I'm like, oh, cool, yeah. I mean, I don't know too much about sports, but hey, keep telling me what you want because it's making you feel good. Versus zoning out, shutting down. I can pick up on that with the quickness. Anytime I meet someone like that, I'm like, all right, moment's over. Anyways, oh no, I'm sorry, I was listening, but you weren't engaging. You weren't interacting with me. To me, that is the part of entertainment that's important when it comes to communicating with someone. Not if I can make you laugh and jump around and act a fool. So it's very important and very, very, very important to understand that when we start making rules about life and relationships and things that we don't have yet, and then we get them and we put all these rules and expectations on something that hasn't even had a chance to exist, it will always be self-sabotage. You will always go back to the, I told you so, I remember how this was, this already happened to me, because you're not taking the time to think about really what you're putting in your environment. And so that's why it's important to listen to people. Like me and my boyfriend, we talk a lot. We talk about a lot of deep stuff that I don't think I've ever talked about in any relationship as efficiently as we have. But we both understand each other that like he's not a morning person. I am. I can but I've had to learn how to his day is not set unless he has his silence first. So for me to benefit him, then I need to know that that's what he needs. For me, I'm more quiet at night. He understands that for me, I don't want to do nothing at night, so don't ask me to do nothing unless it's planned ahead. This is how we learn how to engage or interact with each other, so we knew how to engage each other, which is where that feeling of what we call entertainment comes from. So just remember, it's not about always needing to have something in front of you. It's just learning how to ask yourself what you need to feel validated in your own energy. So then when you go out into the world, you know that partying all the time is not who you are. It's just something you enjoy, no more than being with a partner who doesn't like to go out as much. It doesn't mean you love them less. It just means that's not their thing. And you guys have two different worlds that you can't merge every world together, but you can have your bubble. There is a bubble where you have completely yin and yang and you have each other's backs. But within that yin and yang, again, remember there's polarity and there's duality. So you already understand that you have your polarity moments and you're going to have your duality moments where you're both going to enjoy it. But it doesn't mean that it's always going to be your thing. No more than you're both not always going to enjoy everything. But it doesn't mean that the other one won't try it again. Now, I know I'm all over the place with that at the end. Sorry about that. But what I'm really trying to say is that you just have to learn how to entertain yourself. There's no other way around it. If you have passions, create them. If you have a purpose, start asking questions on how to get there. If you have a function, start reading about things that interest you. Because then when you find your function and you understand what you do is another purpose for your living beyond just waking up and existing for someone else's usage, then that's when you start correlating, again, the function to the purpose and you find your passion. And if you have passion, you will never be bored in life. I promise you that. This is what this whole video is about. As long as you understand that you have passion and you're acting on it, you will never find another living soul around you boring, because you know that you don't have to reach outside of yourself to feel entertained, validated, or balanced. Not saying that me, myself, I don't need to be around people for entertainment sometimes to feel like I'm relaxed, but I don't go to someone and expect them to entertain me and then insult them by saying, "You're not fun, I'm going to go do something else." Deuces. All right, guys, as always, my topics are all over the place, but what I do is, again, I just like to give as much information as I personally can give, because it's my own experience, and my own experience is my own truth. And if it resonates with you, then I have done my job and I've served my purpose. And I thank you as always for listening and following along. As always, you can check me out here on YouTube, as well as Instagram, Facebook, and my website, epicinity.org. I have recently not been posting as much on YouTube. I mean, I'm actually on any of my social media platforms. I took what we call a cleanse, but once in a while messages come through and I feel like it needs to be related back. So this is just one that touched my heart, because I understand it's hard. This pandemic is not that fun. Life feels boring. Life feels purposeless. But that's when you started to realize that I never had a purpose if I was always waiting for the world to entertain me. And if you don't need that entertainment, and you know that you wake up every day with a song in your heart and something to say, you're going to be okay. All right, guys, as always, I love you. I thank you. Besos, besos, besos. Mwah.